Welcome to Joe's Astrology. This is the astrology of Kevin Samuels, YouTuber, and there's no birth time for this. The date is March 13th, 1969. I believe it was Oklahoma, and that should be correct. And there's a lot of controversy around this man, which I'm going to try and clear up in this video. And inevitably, it will still people will still be divided as they always are, and they just kind of see things through their own lens. But I'm going to try to do this as unbiased as possible, uh, although I do have an opinion on Kevin Samuels. So here we have the sun in Pisces, and it's with the north node, and it's with Chiron in Aries. Opposite that, we have the south node at 0 degrees Libra. Jupiter is there, Uranus is there, and Pluto is there. They are all retrograde. So with Pluto, Jupiter, and Uranus on the south node, we see that he is a teacher with that south node Jupiter. You could consider him, other things that can be interpreted this way. You could say he's a consultant, a teacher, consultant, very similar. Pluto, Uranus there, he's controversial, and that can be why we see all this planetary energy on the south node. He certainly would have a feeling in his life of feeling frustrated or stuck at some point. But with that retrograde, you can see that there is some forward movement out of that, and certainly with the sun and Chiron with the north node. And later in life, you can see that even though he brought that frustration forward with his teachings, he was able to really make a name for himself and figure it out with that sun north node. And when I say frustrated or stuck, I don't mean that I don't mean that affecting his teachings. I've seen a chart reading where it was the wrong. I believe it was the wrong chart, and it was a long chart reading on him, and he, they were making it very psychological about bringing his pain or projecting his pain on other people. I do not think that's the case at all. The way I read it is exactly the way I see it. Frustration in maybe making your life, I don't know his early life, but like just the idea of not even frustration, but a feeling of being stuck, and really making a name. When he made a name for himself, kind of breaking out of that. And that's how I interpret that with the sun Chiron there on the north node. Not really trying to make it too psychological, not really into that as much as some people. We see this Virgo. There's Libra there. Jupiter's in Libra. Uranus. This Jupiter Uranus. I have this as well, and we see this time. I see this time and time again with people that I get along with. And if you don't have this aspect, it's probably less likely that you will get some of the things I'm going to say in this video. Because Jupiter really expands that Uranus, and there's other ways to really expand Uranus in the chart or in the life, but it's an advanced, it could be an advanced thinker, so it's gonna, his teachings is gonna go over the head of a lot of people, which it did. They're in their feelings. He's more of an intellectual, but again, he's the teacher. He's the consultant. That's par for the course. But also want to point out, if you haven't seen my chart on Jesus Christ, and I'm not trying to say this person is Jesus Christ. However, you see a similar opposition in Pisces and Virgo, and it's close enough where it can it looks similar. Of course, the overall chart is much different, but he also has Mercury in Pisces here. And the reason I point that out is you often see with Pisces Virgo people, they are trying to help when they have that And here you can see it's beginning with that 0 degrees, the nodes at 0 degrees. It's beginning in the relationship axis. So he is talking about relationships. Mostly, I think one of the main points he was really a lot of people he was talking to were women who he felt were delusional. So we're talking about, and he was also talking about making marriage and bringing men and women together and trying to resolve the problems that are in the community, which I agree with, that the state that we're in right now, the men and women, if men and women can get along, and men and women can come, like all the single women out there and the single men, if they can come together and uh, be in agreement and live together peacefully, a lot of their financial problems would be solved. And you can see he's a financial guy with his in sun in Pisces. And I myself can empathize with that because I've been on a lot of dates, and at its later point in my life, I'm willing to compromise on a lot of things and just um, really be more Aquarian about it. So not to get too much into that, but we also see this Mercury is in Pisces. It's making an inconjunct to the Jupiter. It's nice to see a Jupiter Mercury aspect. So you don't know much about Jupiter and Mercury. They rule Sagittarius and Gemini, the right and left brain. And you can see with that inconjunct, he's really trying to, with the Mercury in Pisces and the Jupiter in Libra, you can see the idea of being delusional Pisces and Jupiter in Libra relationships, teaching about this idea. Are you, or questioning? Now he may have done it in a harsh way, but like questioning, are you delusional? And he's done this for himself. That's why he can teach on it. You see it here. You see it here with the inconjunct. Am I being delusional with my beliefs? Jupiter beliefs, Mercury thoughts. And how can I make an adjustment so that I'm not delusional? See it in conjunct here between the Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter on the other end, on the other side. And this one here, you can really see especially between Jupiter and Venus, which has to do with money, as I said. That frustration of the South Node. How can I bring value, Venus? How can I bring value to the community and at the same time make money for myself? Because that's how you make money. That's how you get big. Anything you want to say about this man? You can use the attention, the controversy, etc., to advance it. But if you're not bringing value, uh, I'm assuming he's a high-level consultant in real life. If you're not bringing value, you're not getting paid big money. It's just not going to happen. You can see that Saturn Venus is somebody who could be a great consultant because they're very business-like, Capricorn-like Saturn, and it's in Aries. And Venus in Aries in a late degree is a good place for Venus because it's in the Sagittarius decan. It's ruled by Jupiter. So with all the things that can be said about Venus and Aries and narcissism, etc., it's a good place to have the Venus. It does have the Mars in Sagittarius. And speaking of narcissism, let's look at this fire. You see the Saturn, Venus, the Mars making moving into a trine with that Saturn. This is where people that aren't deep thinkers, they're going to see this guy as a narcissist. When you have a lot of fire, anyone who has a lot of fire in their chart, they can be seen as a narcissist, even if they're not really I hate that word because most people that are being called narcissists are not narcissists. They're just, you could call them selfish, or it's very contextual and up for interpretation. So, but back to the Saturn Venus, he could come across harsh, And I can relate again. I can empathize with him. If I was in his position, I'd be sick and tired of the delusion. And I'm at a point in my life, I'm sick and tired of delusion, and I don't really have that. I i think unless I'm really pushed or I'm really personally affected, it doesn't really come out as much. But with him, I'm sure he is bringing that frustration, because from the South Node, because he's remember Pisces, he's empathizing with the community. He's empathizing. He's empathic. You could call, they say now that it's popular to say he's an empath. When you're an empath or you're empathetic, you get frustrated of feeling the pain of the collective. And when you see the collective or when you see people that are delusional, it's just so simple and common sense to you, and they can't get it, and it's very painful, and it can cause anger. See, he's got the moon in Capricorn. This moon, sun in Pisces, moon in Capricorn. It's in a sextile, so he's gonna come across as the authority. Uh, and with that moon it's in the Virgo decan. I have my sun there, so I can tell you from personal experience, I may come across as authoritarian in other aspects of my life. I may come across as being judgmental, Capricorn. But with that moon there at 25 degrees, and you can see it's conjunct Ceres. Look at that. It's conjunct Ceres. And I have Ceres prominent in my chart. This is a guy who he's service, or he wants to serve people. He truly wants to serve people. And it's, with that Virgo, it's Virgo's service. And but see, the thing is, he wants to serve people by helping them do their shadow work and help them do their really improve themselves, change their thought process. It's very difficult work. You're not going to get you're not going to get away with not having backlash with that kind of work. And you can see he's got his moon Pluto trine with that series. And Jupiter moon, he's got Jupiter moon, so more indication of him being a consultant, a teacher. The Uranus moon there being a little bit different. But see, it's in a trine, so it's very harmonious. I mean, a lot of people respect this guy for sure, for the work that he was doing. I mean, you could see the men and women fighting, the idea of men and women fighting, and the controversy there. But there really shouldn't have been any. Um, but with that moon Pluto, he's a psychological guy. He's getting, and that's another thing. He's getting into the deeper psychology of it. A lot of people don't want to do that. I've known a lot of people that don't want to do that, and when they do, they don't want to do that. They either argue with you or turn their head the other way. But yeah, this idea too of the moon and sun, the Pisces, Capricorn, like it's like someone who's can definitely be a very responsible person. It's that combination of Jupiter and Saturn, which is really good for work and responsibility. You can see the money here is tied with that Saturn. You can make his money with that Sagittarius, with being the Sagittarius decan, can make his money being a Jupiter Saturn type teacher. I don't know what he did in his early life, but you can also see that in conjunct there with Jupiter and Saturn, like making that adjustment. And when he did make that adjustment and became who he was later in life, then he was able to probably make more money than he's ever has. You can see, oh, skip that because that's not accurate with the time. I think that's enough. There was a lot there. See if there's anything. He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna leave it there for now. Please feel free to comment below. I would love to do the work. Part of what I'm doing with my work is I would love to do the work that he's done and really help people in a way that psychologists and therapists can't. I'm a little bit like him. I'm a little bit harsh. I want people to change. because I want people to change, because I want, as a teacher and a consultant, I want them to get their desires met. I want them to be happier in life, and I want them to, this south node stuckness, which is what you'll see with a lot of these people, I want them to decondition themselves and release them from what they're doing to hold themselves back. I do that in my life, or at least I try to, and uh, I know how beneficial it is. So I hope this finds you well, and I hope this helps, and have a great day.